Hey guys, Sophia here with Turquoise Toffee, and I'm back with another video. Today we're talking about the 2024 Arnold Classic Wellness and Fitness results. It just happened. It was so exciting. What a fabulous show. I watched the live stream this time. I wasn't able to go in person. So everything that I'm going to be saying in this video is from what I saw while watching on my computer. I took notes. You'll probably hear me shuffling my papers. I haven't been able to find the scorecards yet, so if I do find those, I'll tack them onto tomorrow's video about the bikini results. And I also wasn't able to find the official stage photos of every competitor, so I scoured the internet. I did what I could. I've got pictures of everyone, but just keep that in mind. They're not the greatest quality. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to get this video up so we could start chatting in the comments and I could hear what you guys think about all of these amazing ladies. So let's begin with fitness. In sixth place was Tamara. Man, I thought she looked fantastic. She looked extremely full. Her muscles looked round, very pumped up. Beautiful round 3D shapes. I thought her conditioning was also spectacular. You saw a lot of lines, a lot of detail, her legs in particular, the quads, just gorgeous. I found her posing to be very flattering. She really knows how to move her body to highlight her strengths. She has a lot of strengths. I thought she looked really strong, really confident, super poised, just gorgeous. I noticed her beautiful eyeshadow. It was a perfect complement to her suit. And just overall, I thought she looked really good. When I look at these photos, I am really impressed by her back. I think she's got a lot of width. She's got great size. Her glutes look fantastic. I really like how round they are on the edges at the top. Just absolutely gorgeous. And then, like I said, conditioning was fabulous, always with Tamara, but she just looked amazing. I thought she did a really great job. And as for her routine, I thought it was fabulous. Now, I think they could have turned the lights on like a split second sooner. I'm not sure if the audience got to see her big jump onto the stage. I thought, though, her routine was really strong. And what really struck me was how good her muscles looked while she was doing her routine. Like no jiggling, no shaking. She just looked totally solid. I also thought she picked some really unique movements, very creative. The costume caught my attention, particularly her legs. I thought that kind of golden fishnetty look was really cool. And overall, I thought she did a really good job. At the end, there seemed to be a bit of a mishap. I think she got hurt a little bit. Her forehead made contact with the ground, but my gosh, she's such a trooper. She kept going. She didn't falter for even 1 second. So at the end of the day, I think she had a really great show. The routine wasn't strong enough to keep her at the top, but her physique, my gosh, top physiques. One of the top physiques of the whole show. All right, next in fifth was Arca. So good. I loved seeing her in the top. I noticed she has a really beautiful V-taper in this front pose. Man, when she spreads those lats, it's just really eye-catching. I also thought in the back pose, her delts looked amazing. Really good balance in the size and shape, that beautiful curve, with the size and shape of her glutes. So my eyes really flow over her physique beautifully. I also thought she had a really nice size to her quads. Just overall, she's very muscular. She's bigger than a lot of the other competitors, but she has a beautiful frame. Great shape, great silhouette, beautiful proportions. Conditioning looks really good. I think in the front, you've got lots of detail coming through on the quads. Perhaps a little bit sharper in the back of the legs would have been nice, but overall, I thought she did really amazing. I do remember, and I'll touch on this when we get to the lineup photos, thinking that her back could have had a bit more of that round, bubbly, popped 3D quality. But in terms of like the size, amazing. As for her routine, that's the only picture I was really able to find. I thought she looked really good. Beautiful, bold red color. Her costume was awesome. I also thought that she had a really interesting way of moving. I almost want to describe it as like a doll or a marionette. So it was really unique, and I was very intrigued just watching her. I thought her tumbling was insane. She was using the entire length of the stage. She looked so strong. There was not a single shake. Like, I didn't pick up even one little bit of nerves from her. So overall, super impressed. She looked great. I wish she could have a tiny bit more of an exaggeration to the V-taper, only in the sense that if she could get her waist to appear even smaller. Some of the other girls are really petite, and Orica comes across more as large and muscular. So I think if she could really trim down her waistline, that would be amazing. I don't know if that's physically, humanly possible, but at the end of the day, I think she did awesome. Okay, Michelle. Oh man, she looked so good. I absolutely love her V-taper. Her waist is unbelievably small, and her abs are so detailed. It's incredible. When she comes into her pose, both in the front and the back, you really notice just how tiny her waist is. Her posing is fabulous. All of her little details, I noticed that she had yellow in her nail polish, like, just so amazing. I thought she looked really great. What else did I notice? The V-taper, I wrote that down a few times, just how much I loved her tiny waist and the difference between the broadness of her shoulders and the amazing size in her quads. So she's got this great amount of size. The sweep, the roundness is just gorgeous, and what a great balance with that amazing upper body. So overall, she had fantastic conditioning, the abs, the front of the legs, great size, great silhouette. But I did think in the back pose, she could have had more detail coming through into the back of her legs. Okay, now for her routine, so entertaining, really powerful. She was doing some crazy, like, standing and then just immediately backflipping. There was no build-up, just so powerful. Her legs are incredible. I also thought she looked extremely flexible for being such a muscular woman. She can bend like nobody's business. It was crazy. I also thought her skin looked beautiful. We got to see a lot of leg, and there was not a single ounce of jiggle. Like, her skin is tight, her muscles are so full. It was amazing. I did think that some of her landings looked perhaps a little tiny bit off, but overall, I was so impressed with her routine. I thought she looked really great. It had great theatricalness about it. I liked the mask. I liked her costume. Just awesome. Okay, next in third place was Jody. When she walked on stage, I just loved the color of her suit. It was absolutely beautiful, and her hair looked amazing. She just is so pretty. The makeup, everything, absolutely gorgeous. She also has incredible definition. I thought her legs looked so good. The detail in her quads, when she was walking, the detail in her quads was crazy. Just awesome. However, I do think she could have a little bit more size in the quads to match the lats. She's got an amazing lat spread. Her V-taper looks so good. I think she could have just a tiny bit more size so that the legs match even more to that unbelievable width she gets in the top of her upper body. I also felt that her waist looks extremely small in the front pose, but compared to the other girls, the back pose, her waist gets a little bit less narrow. I don't know whether it's the way that her suit is crisscrossing or just the way she poses. I find it really beautiful V-taper in the front, and it gets a little bit more condensed shape in her back pose. I just thought she looked really, really good. I was super impressed with her having a third place. She absolutely stood her ground. Her definition, though, was one of the things that really caught my eye. Like, check out this line in the side of her glute, her hamstring, the detail, just amazing. She looked gorgeous. As for her routine, I went to her Instagram page to find a slightly better picture of the color of her suit, because I thought her outfit, her costume for the routine was just beautiful. The colors were so vibrant. It really matched beautifully the whole kind of vibe of her choreography. It was awesome. I thought she had amazing strength. There was one point when she was in a handstand with her legs up, and then she came down and then went back up, and it was incredible. She's so strong. Her body looked amazing. The costume was so flattering. The only thing, maybe, I thought that there was a lot of like little dance moves mixed in, and it kind of slowed down the powerful and explosiveness of the rest of the routine. I liked watching more of the big jumps and that sort of a thing, but overall I still thought it was a very entertaining routine. Okay, now in second place was Jacqueline. Gorgeous as ever. She had really nice conditioning. I thought her tan didn't look quite as nice as some of the other girls. In these photos, it looks fantastic, but I thought maybe it was just a little bit splotchy. I noticed it more in the lineup. I thought her posing, it's always beautiful, but she did this gorgeous pose right at the back of the stage when she first walked on, and it was just like jaw-dropping. She's so beautiful. I do feel like she could have a little bit more size in her lats, particularly in the front pose, just a bit more of that thickness. And then in the back pose, I feel like she could have a bit more height to the delts. But I really love this kind of twisted front pose. I think the conditioning and the detail you get to see in her legs, in her abs, it looks really fantastic. She's got a beautiful shape in this pose in particular. I also noticed that while she does a really great job of showing off her glutes when she's in the poses themselves, that sometimes I noticed the glutes kind of losing their pop when she was moving from pose to pose. So in that kind of transition between the poses. So if she can keep the glutes popped all the time, I think that would be even better. But still, she really impressed me. I thought she looked really beautiful. And it was a great second place for her. Okay, for her routine, she did like a flash dance theme. It was so good. It was extremely entertaining. You didn't want to look away. She started wearing the sweater and the leg warmers, which was super cute. But I have to say, I wish she took the sweater off sooner because I wanted to see like her arm muscles while she was doing some of those moves. I don't know how on earth she got the leg warmers off the way that she did. I was mystified by that. It was incredible. I thought she looked extremely strong, and at the same time that she was showing strength, she looked extremely beautiful. Just her legs were so long, beautiful pointed toes. Just overall, it was a really lovely routine. I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. Great entertainment value, great theme, great energy, beautiful movements, and the costume was perfect. So very well done. And now in first place, Ariel, very exciting. She's done it again. She looked awesome. She has a really great V-taper, especially in that front pose. I think you notice the gorgeous shape with the cut of her suit, with the balance between her lats and her quads. She's just got a really nice front pose. I thought she had great abs. She had good conditioning in the front of her legs. In these photos, you're not seeing quite so much definition coming through in the back of the legs. But I think in the live stream, I thought she looked really fabulous. She's got a lot of width in her back. That density is crazy. Even though she's not the tallest girl, she's not the biggest girl by any means in the lineup, she has a lot of width and a crazy amount of size. Very muscular, particularly on her small frame. So I think she looked really amazing. I did find that the red suit didn't quite pop against her tan. I'm not the biggest fan of red suits usually, and everybody, it seemed, had such gorgeous kind of bluey and purple and turquoise jewel tones this whole show, and I wonder if that was just because of the backdrop, like people anticipated what would look good. I don't know. Either way, I wasn't crazy about the red with the tan, with her hair color. I think like a royal blue would have been even more of a contrast with all of those tones. But still, the suit fits her beautifully. Her posing was nice, perhaps a little shaky, but there's a lot on the line, and I think she did a really great job. Now, as for her routine, fantastic. The theme was Predator. It was amazing. Of course, her strength is unbelievable. She was doing some of the most intense movements. Like, I was holding my breath. I wasn't always sure she was going to be able to make it. Like, I do feel like you can sometimes see the adrenaline in Ariel. She's a little bit shaky. It doesn't look effortless, but she does manage to pull off everything she does, and the degree of difficulty seems extremely high. She's doing these insane varieties of handstands. What she's doing with her legs while she's only holding on to the ground with her palms is incredible. I thought the entertainment value was extremely high. I thought she just had this great costume, great music, great energy, great power, great height, great movement across the stage. And it's no wonder that she did so well at the end of the day, because it was a fabulous routine. Okay, so here is a photo I found of the lineup, but it wasn't the greatest quality. So I went ahead and just made my own version of the comparison round. So, oh man, it was good. These girls look really incredible. Of course, we don't have the scorecard, so I can't tell you exactly who came in the top position, though it must have been Tamara, Jody, or Michelle. I think the three of them were really phenomenal. Probably it was either Tamara or Jody in first. I think Michelle came in third, and then Ariel in fourth. Arica fifth, and Jacqueline in sixth. That's my guess based on the lineup, the way that the judges were moving everyone around and doing the comparisons, but we will have to wait and see. So some of my impressions, I thought Jacqueline got a little lost off to the side. She's just a little bit smaller, not quite as densely muscular as Ariel beside her. Arica, on the other hand, on the other side, looked extremely wide, a lot of muscle in her back. But I kept being drawn to Michelle's tiny waist. Just her V-taper is incredible, and nobody stands even close to that beautiful tininess and the V-taper that she gets because of how small her waist is. I thought Jody had spectacular lats. I think her lats have even more width than Tamara beside her. I thought Ariel looked really dense in her back as well, just a lot of width, nice balance with her glutes too. I also really loved the cut of Jody's bottoms. I love how high and teeny tiny the straps are and how close they come in towards her belly button. I think Tamara and Michelle, even Ariel, could have a little bit more of that look, and it really helps to make the waist look super small. I noticed that Tamara had really great conditioning and detail when she was walking and moving, but I also thought both Tamara and Jody had really beautiful definition in the sides of their legs when they were in that side pose. Arica, her back, like I said before, didn't seem to be quite as 3D, for example, compared to Tamara, so just not quite as pumped up. I thought Jody's waist looked a little bit more trim than Tamara beside her, but I thought Tamara had really nice roundness to her quads, especially in the back. So different things caught my eyes about different girls. I thought Michelle's legs were by far the largest. She had the most impressive amount of muscle on her legs. But I also thought that Tamara had really beautiful delts, great roundness, great height. Jody had beautiful delts as well, but I think Tamara really in the pictures you can see in the back pose really gorgeous, whereas Jody maybe perhaps had a beautiful delt in the front pose. So it was very close. I think everybody had beautiful elements to their physiques that make them stand out. Ariel, I thought when she moved to the side pose, she has beautiful size in her lats. And Jody, though, of course, also I've mentioned it, had really nice size in her lats. It's really difficult to say who was the top physique. And at the end of the day, you know what, guys? It doesn't even really matter because fitness is 2/3 the routine. And it was Ariel and Jacqueline who definitely took the highest marks for their routines. It bumped them up in the points and got them into first and second place. So at the end of the day, that's what matters the most. And I was actually really pleasantly surprised and super impressed to see that all 6 of the top 6 also had the top 6 physiques. So really impressive. But if I'm being honest, none of these girls had my favorite routine. That was definitely Anna. Her routine was unbelievable. She was like a Cirque du Soleil performer, extremely flexible. The moves she was doing were so impressive. Even Arnold clearly was impressed. I was blown away, and I cannot wait to see more of her on the pro stage because I think she was phenomenal. As far as Olympia is concerned, Ariel is added to the list. And as far as my predictions are concerned, I did great. I had all 3 of the top 3. So, fabulous. Okay, moving on to wellness. Okay, in 6th place was Anne-Marie, and she looked stunning. Her green suit was so sparkly, extremely shiny. It just looked so beautiful with her hair and her skin tone. It was gorgeous. I thought she had a really nice small waist, beautiful outlining of her glutes, like this detail in the tie-ins. Absolutely gorgeous. She also had a really nice triangular shape, the way that her hair was styled. You got to see the delts, you got to see the narrowing in of her waist, and then that beautiful width to the lower body. So I think she did a really good job with all of those beautiful finer details to really showcase her physique. I also thought she had really beautiful glute ham silhouette in the side pose, like this curve. Oh man, absolutely gorgeous. Where I do think she could have a little bit more curve is the front of the quad here, just a little bit more roundness. My eye is drawn a little bit more straight to the floor, and I want to see a nicer curve in this front leg. Even in the back, I think she could have a bit more of height to the sweep of the quad. But that's it. I thought she looked fantastic. It was a gorgeous 6th place for her, and her posing was beautiful, very flowy, stunning, very, very eye-catching on stage. Oh, and there's one more beautiful photo I was able to find on Instagram. The rest of the photos, unfortunately, are mostly screenshots from the live stream. All right, next in 5th place was Lily. Oh, I was so excited to see her in the top 5. She looked amazing. I particularly loved the quad definition in her side pose here. I think you saw a lot of lines, some beautiful definition up in her hip, just stunning. She has a very long torso, I noticed, so it's great for showing off her abs, really flat, smooth abs when she was walking forward. Oh man, I couldn't take my eyes off of her abdominals. I think she also had a really nice hamstring in the side pose. Great curve, good definition, nice pop. Certainly she could have more size to the glute just in general, but in particular, I thought she could have a little bit more of the roundness here on top. But I mean, compared to the other girls in the lineup, she's definitely a smaller wellness girl, but still beautiful proportions. I thought her delts looked beautiful. She's got a lot of traps too. I think she'll have to be careful that she doesn't have too much muscle in the upper body. It is something I noticed compared to the other girls. So I wanted to comment that I wished her hair showed off the delts a little bit more. I found that the hair was covering them a bit. But on the other hand, I don't want her big muscular traps to detract from that unbalanced wellness shape, right? You want the attention to be all on the lower body. So I think I'm okay with the hair, but I really particularly liked the length. I think it did such a good job of, it's almost pointing to the tiniest spot on her waist and forcing you to look and see how minuscule her midsection is. It's just stunning. I also really noticed her calves. I thought she had fabulous definition. Just overall, really amazing conditioning. What else can I say? She's gorgeous. Beautiful suit, beautiful tan, just amazing. A little more size in those glutes though, for sure. Next in fourth place was Bruna, and she looked stunning. That suit color was absolutely gorgeous. It was just radiant on her with the dark hair and her tan. Stunning. I particularly noticed how small her waist was in the back pose. I also thought she had a really beautiful length to her glutes. The tie-ins just went forever. Really nice definition, beautiful detail. I thought she had really beautiful delts as well in the back pose. You could see her shoulders beautifully. I thought her walk could have been a little bit more fluid and flowy. And I also felt that when I looked at her in the lineup compared to the other girls, she has a lot of length, and I wish she had just a little bit more width. So a bit more size coming out on the sides of the glutes, maybe even a little bit more curve to the legs. But still, I think on her own frame, her proportions are absolutely stunning. All right, next in third place was Sandra. Beautiful. This screen grab does not do her suit justice. It was gorgeous. I loved it. It was a vibrant turquoise, and she looks stunning. So again, this is another athlete with an absolutely tiny waist. I thought her abs looked so flat. Her waist almost disappeared. Like, just incredible how tiny her silhouette is. I thought her hamstrings in the back could have had a little bit more definition coming through, certainly in the live stream. I also thought even her quads in the front could have had a little bit more definition compared to some of the other girls. But I did think she had a really beautiful overall silhouette. Like, I know it's wellness, so you don't have to have perfect balance, but I really liked the width of her delts, and then that narrowing in of her waist, and then that beautiful width again of her lower body. Just your eyes really flow over her silhouette easily and beautifully. There was a time in the night show where she was in her back pose like this, and she did something to her knees. Like, she just adjusted ever so slightly, and my goodness, did it ever make her quad sweep pop. I loved it. So definitely she knows what she's doing when she's posing. And the other thing that I definitely noticed on her was this beautiful hamstring. Perfectly bubbly, nice round shape. So gorgeous overall. A little bit more conditioning, I think, would have been great, but still, I think she looked fabulous. All right, next in second place was Issa. I'm very curious to see the scorecard and see how close it was, if it was like Olympia with 1 point or if it was an easy win. Either way, she did look stunning. She's got gorgeous posing, really beautiful way that she just commands the stage. She transitions so nicely from front to back. She just kind of pops her glutes and rolls her whole body to the back. And it's just absolutely enchanting. She's so beautiful. I find that she does have a lot of width. So whereas I commented before on another athlete being more of a narrow, Issa to me has a lot of width. So you really notice that breadth from side to side of her glutes. You notice the width in her stance of how wide her legs are. She's got a lot of size. Like, I would say she's arguably got the largest glutes on the stage. They're also very long as well. So you notice that tie-in coming deep down her leg. Very noticeable, the size of the glutes. But she's got gorgeous curvy shapes. So I noticed that roundness to the top of her quads, both in that standing supporting leg and the back leg. You notice the roundness in her glute. You notice obviously in the back pose that beautiful roundness on the height of her glute and the sweep. So definitely beautiful shapes. I thought she looked even better in the evening show than in the morning show. Just her definition was great. But the one thing that I did find that, you know what? I don't think I would say it just by looking at the picture. But when I watched the live stream, I didn't feel that she has as much of that little dip that comes in between the bottom of the glute and the hamstring in her side pose as our first place winner does. So let's look at that when we get to the side comparisons. But still, I think she looked really great. A lot of size, beautiful stage presence. Not quite the conditioning of our first place winner, and I think she could have just a little bit more of that detail right in here. All right, Francielli, first place. I don't think anybody was surprised by this at all. I found that she stood out easily. She has so much size, but also so much outlining. Like, every part of her body is outlined. You've got the glutes on the side have this gorgeous line here. Her hamstrings are outlined. Her quads are outlined. She's got outlining in her hips. Her abs are perfectly detailed. She's got serratus muscles showing. Her delts have a little outline, right? Like, just her conditioning is perfect. Check out her calves. Absolutely stunning. The conditioning is beautiful. Of course, I have to comment on the turquoise suit. It is pure perfection. It looked so beautiful on her. When she moves, when she walks, the definition in her legs was stunning. I thought her glutes looked so big in this front pose. Just a tremendous amount of size, but beautiful balance with her upper body. And she, like nobody else, really has this amazing triangular shape. You notice the width in her delts, the tininess in her waist. So I know wellness is all about the lower body, but she still has an absolutely stunning upper body. Her makeup, her hair, the bold red lip, perfect, of course. Her tiny waist, her very fluid and flowy posing, like everything combines together to make her just the most beautiful and, to me, the clear winner in this show. I also thought, one last thing, I'm checking my notes here, she had a really great quad sweep in the back leg of her side pose. So that curve here was stunning. You definitely notice all of those beautiful full muscles. And that was a pretty spectacular shot of her. Okay, so here's the comparisons. My goodness, everybody, like I said, looks really amazing. But I do think you notice Francielli's conditioning, those outline shapes, right? Right in here where the glute is so beautifully defined. You don't quite have that with Isa. At least in the photos, you know, if someone was there and saw it in person and it came across better to the naked eye, please comment below. But certainly you're seeing it really clearly in the photos here. I'm noticing the size on Lily and that hamstring, the tiny waist on Sandra. Isa, man, the size and height and roundness in her glute is incredible. Bruna, I think she's got some beautiful detail in her hip, really nice small waist, nice definition in her shoulders. And Anne-Marie looks so tall. Her glutes are so high, nice size, beautiful outlining. Though again, I do think she could have more curve to the legs, just ever so slightly when I compare her, for example, to Isa and Francielli. I also thought that Francielli does a really great job with that triangular shape in this side pose, as well as the front pose in the upper body. Bruna, I noticed her extremely flat midsection. Sandra, I thought her glutes looked really good in that front pose. Issa, I kept commenting on the size. She just has a tremendous amount of muscle mass in her lower body. This is where I feel Bruna looked a little bit more narrow, particularly in the back pose, right? The legs are beautiful and the detail in her glutes is nice and long, but the other girls have a bit more width. Whether it's the way they're standing, maybe she could try turning her toes out, I'm not sure. Lily for sure could have a bit more size in the glutes, but I do think she's holding her own, and she did a really great job in this incredible lineup. And I thought she had particularly good quads in her back pose. Sandra, I thought her legs looked a little smaller than the two girls on either side of her, particularly in this back pose. Bruna, I thought her shoulders, while they did have beautiful outlining, they could have been a little bit more high and round in the top. Particularly in this front pose. I thought she could have, when you look at Bruna and then you look at Francielli, I think you could see that she could definitely have just a little bit more roundness. Anne-Marie was angling herself to the judges. That's very wise. Maybe not the easiest for us to see in the photo, but you can see she's got some great size in her upper body as well as a beautiful curve with that tiny waist. But at the end of the day, I wrote down Francielli is the best of everything. Really, conditioning, shape, posing. She's absolutely gorgeous. And in terms of Olympia, well, of course, Francielli was already qualified. And in terms of my predictions, I did pretty darn good. One of my picks didn't end up competing, but everybody else, so I had the top 2, I had the top 3, and I even had Lily in there as a wild card. So pretty good. And now, coming up still, the China Pro was this weekend. Tomorrow, we've got the Arnold Classic Bikini. And then coming up in March, we've got the Arnold Classic UK, and then the Campinas is coming up as well. So make sure you subscribe, give me a like if you like this video, comment your thoughts below. I'm very curious to hear what you guys have to say, and come find me. I'm on Instagram at Turquoise Toffee.